Story number 1. I never used to be afraid of the dark, but that all changed after my worst nightmare became a reality. It started as just a typical dream. I was lost in a dark and twisting maze with no way out. But as I turned a corner, I saw something that still haunts me to this day. A figure shrouded in darkness, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. And then it started to chase me. I woke up in a cold sweat, heart pounding, but relieved that it was just a dream. But then it started happening every night. The same figure, the same chase, the same feeling of absolute terror. I tried everything to escape the dream, sleeping during the day, drinking warm milk before bed, even taking sleeping pills, but nothing worked. And then, one night, the figure appeared in my room. I saw it standing at the foot of my bed, its glowing eyes fixed on me. I tried to scream, but no sound escaped my lips. I was paralyzed with fear, unable to move or look away. And then, it started to speak. Its voice was like nothing I had ever heard before, a mixture of whispers, hisses, and screams. It told me that I was trapped in its realm, that I would never escape its grasp. And then, it reached out a hand and touched me. I woke up again, this time in a hospital room. I had been in a coma for 3 weeks, the doctors told me. They had found me in my room, unconscious and muttering about a nightmare. I was relieved to be awake, but the memory of that figure still haunted me. I started to see it everywhere, in the shadows, in the corners of my eyes. And then, one night, it returned. It spoke to me again, telling me that it was not a dream, that it was real, and that it was coming for me. I was consumed by fear, unable to sleep or leave my house. I felt like I was losing my mind. And then one night, it appeared in front of me. It reached out a hand, and I could feel its cold touch on my skin. And that was the last thing I remembered before waking up in the hospital again. The doctors told me that I had a mental breakdown, that I needed to rest and get better. But I know the truth, that the figure, the nightmare, is real, and it's still out there waiting for me. I try to stay awake, but eventually I always succumb to sleep. And then I am back in the maze, being chased by the figure. It's a never-ending cycle of terror, and I am powerless to escape it. This is my worst nightmare, and it's all too real. I am trapped, forever haunted by the figure in the darkness. Story number 2. I still remember the feeling of dread that washed over me when I first heard the rumors about the old abandoned mansion on the outskirts of town. It was said to be cursed, haunted by the ghosts of its former residents. I was skeptical, but I had always been drawn to the thrill of the unknown, so I decided to investigate for myself. I made my way to the mansion one night, armed with nothing but a flashlight and a camcorder. The moon was full and cast an eerie glow over the mansion, making it look even more foreboding. I approached the front door and pushed it open, the creaking sound echoing through the empty halls. As I entered the mansion, I felt a shiver run down my spine. The air was thick with the smell of decay and must, and I could feel a sense of dread building inside me. I started to film, hoping to capture any evidence of the paranormal activity that was said to occur there. I made my way through the mansion, cautiously exploring each room and recording everything I saw. But as I went deeper into the mansion, I started to feel like I was being watched. I heard strange noises, whispers, and footsteps coming from nowhere. I felt like I was being followed, and the feeling of dread became almost unbearable. I finally entered the attic, and that's when things took a turn for the worse. I felt a cold breath on the back of my neck, and I knew I was no longer alone. I turned around, but there was nothing there. I aimed my flashlight into the darkness, but saw nothing but shadows. And then I heard it, a voice coming from the shadows. It was a voice like I had never heard before, filled with anger and malice. It was the voice of a ghost, and it was speaking directly to me. I felt a cold hand grab me from behind, and I knew that I had to get out of there. I ran as fast as I could, my heart pounding in my chest. I burst through the front door and ran into the night, never looking back. When I finally reached my car, I tore through the streets, trying to put as much distance between me and the mansion as possible. I never went back to the mansion, but I will never forget what I experienced that night. The footage I captured is proof of the paranormal activity that took place there, but I have never been able to bring myself to watch it again. The memory of that voice and the cold hand on the back of my neck is enough to haunt me for the rest of my life. To this day, I still get shivers when I think about that night. I know that the mansion is still there, waiting for its next unsuspecting victim, and I can only hope that they are more prepared for what lies within than I was.